Hello cybersecurity professionals, Mr. Lang here, and we're going to work on installing our Windows Server 2019 edition in a virtual environment. What's so cool to be in education right now is these companies allow us as students, as educators, to work in these virtual environments by providing us the images to install and train and learn how to protect these servers, and again, we can break things. We're not scared to fail. We're not scared to mess things up. We're working in a virtual environment. We're not going to mess up our host operating system. You'll still be able to power your computer on and open up the internet and go to your email and do what you do on the internet. You'll still be able to do that through your host machine, but it gives us the opportunity to play in a virtual environment and learn. So a couple things that you're going to need. One is, and I'm going to provide these links inside of one Microsoft Teams, inside of a chat for our team. Another thing that I'm going to provide is in my YouTube video in the description, I will provide the links to these as well. All right, so one thing you're going to need is a Workstation Player, all right, a VMware Workstation Player. And I know this says 16, but you may be watching this next year and it may be 17 or 18 by then. Whatever, but you want to download that for the operating system of your host. So if you're actually working in a computer that the host is a Linux, you'd want to download this. If you're working in a Windows environment, such as myself, I'm running Windows 10, all right, I would want to download and install this one, all right. Another thing that we're going to need, and again, I'm going to provide this in the description, is the actual ISO file to download so we can install this into the virtual environment. So we're going to be using our Windows Server 2019. And down below, to start our evaluation, we're going to choose the ISO image, all right, and then choose continue. Now here, you're going to want to put in your first and last name. You can put in Gull Lake High School as our company name. Our company size, well, we're between about 250 to 999 people. That's just fine. Your job title, well, you know what? We're IT or technical manager, or we can be a developer or engineer. That's fine, just totally fine, or other IT professional would be just fine. All right. And your work email address. Again, you want to put in your Gull Lake one. Now your phone number. All right. I'm not asking you to put in your phone number. You can put in Gull Lake's phone number by 4548 3000. All right. And you may have to put dashes in there. Not 100% sure if you do or not. So the first time you don't succeed, try again. All right. And then your country or region would be the United States. So you guys can do this and then choose continue. And then it should automatically start downloading in the lower left-hand corner. At least that's what it did for mine. And then you guys, it's probably going to download in your download folder, and then you're going to want to create your directories so you know where things are at. All right, so here's my VMware directory where I have my Windows Server 2019 directory. I'm going to open that up, and here's my ISO file. So I already downloaded my ISO file, and there it is right there for Windows Server. I also want to have the operating system. This is where we're going to put the OS when we actually create our virtual machine. Now you saw that I also have one called Notes. Mr. Alberto Garcia provided me some notes and you guys some notes. And I'll probably put this in a Google document or probably on my OneNote eventually, but I put those here for right now. All right, so you may not have those. You really need your ISO and your operating system folder. So I'm going to open up my operating system folder, and right now it's empty. Let's go ahead and start creating our virtual machine using the VMware Player. Now I'm on 15, you may be on 16, we're going to be just fine. Here's a couple of my virtual machines that I have right now, but I'm going to choose create a new virtual machine. Now stay with me here. This is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. In the past, we've actually gone to the installer disk image and gone and find the ISO image. We're not going to do that right now. I tried that, it did not work. I asked Mr. Alberto Garcia, he said try it like this, and it worked phenomenally. So this is what I want you guys to do, so make sure you stay with me. I will install the operating system later, all right? So we're going to choose next on this. Microsoft Windows, Windows Server 2016 edition, so you may have to go and look for that. Again, I know we're doing the 2019, but this is the most up-to-date one they have on their list, so we can choose that, totally fine. Choose next. This is where I'm going to right click on the right of this and I'm going to backspace and put 19 on here. This is what's going to appear over here on the left hand side. So Windows 10 or Ubuntu 18, it will say Windows Server 2019. this is where I need to go and put the operating system. So this is actually going to be in this directory right here. So I know how my directories work. I know it's on my hard drive. I know I need to go into my users drive. You guys may have yours somewhere else. Again, I'm going to look for my directory. I know where my directories are. Oop, I went by it, I believe. I'm looking for my Gull Lake one. And there it is right there, my Gull Lake directory and my VM directory. And I'm not using VirtualBox for this VM. I'm using VMware, and there's my Server 2019 and my OS. Again, everybody's directories are different. You need to know where your directories are. This OS is this file path right here. All right, so I'm going to choose OK, and I'm going to choose Next. Now I'm going to start customizing my hard drive, my maximum disk size, 60 gigabytes. That's what they had by default. I'm going to leave it there. And by default, they had split virtual disk into multiple files. I'm going to leave that there as well by default. And now I'm going to customize my hardware. Now, when you do this, you need to know, so I'm going to my Start menu right now, and I'm going to System Info. All right, so I can go to my system information, and it's popping up over here. And this one will tell me how much memory I have for my physical memory. I have 16 gigabytes installed for my RAM. All right, and so I'm going to use half of that. Your computer may only have 8 gigabytes of RAM. You need to find out what that is on your particular operating system. So I'm going to jump this up. I usually use about half of it. So I give my host half, 8 gigs, and my virtual machine half. My processor is at 2. That's just fine. And I'm going to choose Close. All right. And now that I have customized my hardware, I've got 60 gigabytes of hard disk space. My memory is at 8 gigabytes. All right. My CPU is at 2 cores. I'm going to choose Finish. And when I choose Finish, you can see that my Windows Server started to put files here in my actual OS folder. All right. So now, you guys, I am going to go to Edit My Virtual Machine Settings. So again, this is a little bit different than what we've done before. I'm going to go into my CD DVD drive. And over on the right, I am going to choose Use an Image File. And I'm going to browse for my image file. And I need to go into my File Manager. And I'm going to go to my ISO folder. And there's my ISO file. I'm going to double click my ISO file. So use this as my ISO file image. And I'm going to choose OK. So now it has the file there. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose Play Virtual Machine. All right, and it's starting to load up. You may see some folders appearing over here. This is kind of dangerous to have your operating system folder open as you are doing this. Oh, you know what? Shoot. I totally forgot that I needed to do something, you guys. When it first came up, it said, hey, press Enter to load up from your disk drive. So I'm going to choose Exit on here, you guys. Totally my bad. I'm going to power off. I missed that. I was talking and not doing. So I'm going to go back to my VMware Player. And again, when you start loading it up, it's going to ask you to press your Enter key to load up from your drive. So right away, I am going to press my Enter key. I know this was underneath it, but it asked me to press it. Unsuccessful. Don't know why. Let me go ahead and try it one more time. I think I might have needed to click onto here because that message appeared. I didn't like that. So let's try it one more time. And it does work, I promise you. Server. All right, play. And now I'm going to click into here and I'm going to press my Enter key. All right, and now it's starting to load those files. All right, I had to click into there and press Enter. All right, I wish this wasn't that return to your computer, press Alt, Control Alt. All right, and that's a good tip because right now I don't have my mouse right now. My mouse is gone. Control Alt, my mouse is back now. All right, so that's a good tip that it actually brought up there. But again, I now am allowing it to load up from that file. And again, it's as I was mentioning before, it's kind of dangerous to have this open. I really shouldn't have it. I just want to open it for demonstration purposes. Language to install, English, US. I'm going to choose next. And I may have to click it on again. Install Server 2019, install now. And it's going to probably come up with, it's going to ask me what version I want to install. So it's very important that you guys stick with me. And you could pause this video. You can scrub it to kind of see, okay, what was he doing here? Why did he have to relaunch his virtual machine for the third time to press his enter key on it to get it to actually load from the actual CD drive? So this is the one we want. We want the desktop experience, all right? So we can see the desktop. So it's the second option right here, all right? Windows Server 2019 Standard Evaluation, Desktop Experience. That's what we want. And choose Next. And then we'll be patient. Eventually, it's probably going to ask us to accept a license agreement. All right, so we'll accept that and choose Next. And now we want to choose Custom Install, Windows only. So you're going to choose this option right here. It's the second one. All right. Where do we want to put it? We want to put it on our hard drive. We allocated 60 gigs for that. So we're going to put it on our hard drive. We'll choose Next. And now it's starting to copy these Windows files. This is actually like you would be installing an actual server onto a computer or one of our networks over here. All right. So this could take a while. All right, and it could take anywhere to 5 to 10 to maybe 20 minutes, maybe even a half an hour, depending on your processing speed of your computer. All right, so, and plus I have my video going right now, so that's using some resources. All right, so I'm going to actually pause this video and let this work through getting the files ready and everything. And then once this is done, I'll come back and we'll continue on with the setup. All right, you guys, here we are back, and so my VM actually went through the whole installation process, and then it restarted itself. Again, just let it do its thing, you guys. Let it go through the whole process. All right, and so now it's actually asking me to create my password, and I can create that. Oh, I need to click inside of there, I believe. Now it's active, so I can go ahead and create that. I'm not going to show you what that is, but I can create that. All right, very important to have a secure password, and I'm going to choose Finish on that. And it's finalizing my settings, so it's working on a couple of those. So I can go ahead and click on this. All right, and I believe, and is it gonna let me in? It should. It says press Control-Alt-Delete to unlock. All right, so I'm going to do that. Control-Alt-Delete. I didn't read that. To unlock, and there we go. All right, and now it's unlocked, a very important secure feature. All right, so we can unlock that locally here and not remotely. All right, and so I'm going to put in my password, as now I am an administrator, and I can go ahead and click on Welcome. So it's setting some profiles and preparing my desktop. Again, very dangerous that I have this operating system folder open, but again, I have these files. This is actually my operating system. All right, and you can make a backup of that when you're done. A very important thing to do, just in case if something happens to your files, you always can have a backup. So when I actually get done with this, I will make a backup. I'll demonstrate that here in a second. But here's my Windows Server. All right, a little bit different than Windows 10. It doesn't have all of the things that Windows 10 has on it, but we're going to get to learn a lot about the Windows Server. We're going to be able to play in it and learn how to harden it. All right, so again, here's your start menu like you are probably accustomed to. Now, when you go to turn your server off, all right, normally servers are doing just that. They are serving people in your business organization data and files and applications and everything. And so normally you wouldn't shut a server down, only maybe for some routine maintenance. You'd want to keep that thing running. So when I choose power down and I say shut down, it's going to say, hey, why do you want to shut down? Well, actually, you know what? I don't want to shut down quite yet. Let me click off of here. So here's a server manager dashboard and stuff like this. This is going to be some cool stuff that we're going to learn all about inside of this and play around with and break things. And you know what? That's what's cool about this virtual environment. I'm going to go ahead and full size that and full size that. And maybe this server doesn't full size. Sometimes I have to maybe click out of it and then get back into it. But, I may have to work on some settings to full size this, but we'll get there. But as I was mentioning, when you go to shut this down, it's not like you would do a normal shutdown. All right. It may ask you, hey, why are you shutting this down? And there's options, maybe hardware installation, which is a planned system, maybe a system recovery, all right, whatnot. So we can just put this was a planned shutdown, all right. But again, if you got users that are relying on this and one of the CIAs is availability and it's not available, they'd be freaked out. So you'd want to let all your users know, hey, we're shutting the server down for some maintenance or some software installation, and you'd want to do that during non-peak hours while people are not working throughout the day. So I'm going to choose continue on that, and it is shutting down. And now if I minimize this, and see, I can watch my operating system files. Eventually some of these folders that are used to put some of those temp files in will eventually start to go away. All right, and so there they go. They are gone now. And so if I go back to my VMware Player, I can then launch my Windows Server right from here. Okay, now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to close this, you guys, because again, now that I've taken the time to make this server, I want to make a backup of it. I'm going to do a Control A on my keyboard. Well, let me click in this folder first, or directory, Control A and Control C. I'm going to go back along my breadcrumbs here, and I'm going to make a backup. Control Shift in, and I'm going to make a backup folder. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and open that directory and Control Shift in, and I'm going to put the date of when I made this backup. All right, and open that directory, and I'm going to paste those files in there. All right, again, making a backup just in case we start working on things and it freaks out. We don't have to go through that whole install process again. We can just go to our backup files, reload them in the OS folder, and run our virtual machines from there. So again, it is backing up right now. Depending on your CPU, your RAM, your hardware configuration, what other applications you may have running, depends on the speed of your backup, but eventually here those files are. I don't want to mess anything with my backup files unless I need them. All right, I would load up everything from my operating system directory. All right, so again, if I demonstrate, I should be able to open up my VMware Player, and I should be able to double click on my Windows Server, and it should load up and be ready to go for us. Again, we want to have this ready to go for some training purposes in class, and so double check yours. If you are putting this on your external hard drive, just make sure that you test it out and things are running and things are opening okay. Very important to do. But again, this is a great environment for us to learn, for us to make mistakes, for us to totally maybe mess up. Holy cow, I turned something off. My operating system is not working anymore. Again, a great opportunity for us to learn. Control-Alt-Delete to unlock. And now my task manager locally comes up. But let me try that again. Control-Alt-Delete and cancel that. And now I can log in as an administrator. All right, and I put in my password and enter, and it's preparing my virtual environment. All right, and so again, we're going to probably play around with setting up some of the resolutions for this. I've never really worked in a Windows Server environment, so I'm really looking forward to learning right along with you guys. We're going to learn together. This is what's cool. It's loading up the Server Manager. Again, this is what you'll be doing in the IT field, is working in the server area. I'm hoping we can load up a Linux server and start playing around with that too, man, and start becoming professionals in the IT field of just getting an idea of what these are all about. Again, thank goodness we have Mr. Alberto Garcia to help us out and mentor us as well. So we need to take advantage of that. He is a professional cybersecurity professional. So pretty cool. So we'll get to learn more about this and learn how to work through these and what these things all mean. So can't wait to work on this with you guys and learn together. All right, have a great one, you guys. Again, can't wait to I'm really looking forward to learn.